Don Sutton, at age 29, ripe age for a pitcher. They say that those are the productive years, 29, 30, 31, and maybe even longer along for a pitcher. But he's been up since 1966, his rookie year. He won 12 and lost 12, and the lone member of this Dodger ball club that has no any previous experience with a winning ball club or a championship ball club, and that was in his rookie year. He has beaten the Pirates twice, and the Pirates have beaten him twice. But as I said, he's about as hot as you can get, as he has won 10 games in a row. He clinched the pennant for the Dodgers with a win in Houston, and he opened up this series with about the cleanest performance I've ever seen by a pitcher. A four-hitter, never had a runner get as far as third. The only runner that got to second base was on a walk and an error, and we never threatened at all. He hardly broke a sweat, and he confessed that he threw only 4 bad pitches throughout the entire afternoon. And if you know anything about pitching, and the many pitches you throw, and the finesse you have to make only 4 mistakes, that is an unreal performance. And the Pirates looked at that, and they suffered through it because we were shut out by the score of 3-0. Well, we wish a happy birthday to a fellow not with the Pirates who suffered almost a fatal accident or illness this year. Bobby Moose, who had a blood clot under his right clavicle in a very serious operation. He's recovered from that, back pitching down in the Instructional League, back in Pittsburgh. Bobby, happy 27th birthday to you, and hope next year is a pleasant one for you. Rennie Stennett will lead it off against Don Sutton. He'll be followed by Hebner and Oliver. Rennie got his only hit of the series. He opened yesterday against Doug Rao with a single to right field. And the first pitch is underway by Don Sutton. It is fouled out of play down the right field line, strike one. The Dodgers have Buckner in left, Wynn in center, Ferguson in right field. Ron Cey is at third, Bill Russell at shortstop, Davey Lopes at second, Garvey's at first. The catcher today, Steve Yeager, and of course the pitcher, Don Sutton. The 0-1 pitch to Rennie, low and outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. That's the pitch that they had Stennett chasing in the first couple of ball games with Messersmith and Sutton working. The idea was, don't throw strikes to him. Make him chase the ball. The 1-1 pitch, high pop-up into right field. Joe Ferguson drifting in will make the play. The fastball jammed him, 1 down. Jerry Royce just finishing throwing in the Pirate bullpen, leisurely strolling down the right field foul line toward the Pirate dugout. Richie Hebner, with a couple of hits yesterday, drove in 3 runs, a 2-run homer in the first, and a single in the 3rd inning. The first one off Rao, and the second hit came off Charlie Hub. They're pulled around to right field on Richie, and the pitch is in there, taking strike 1. Got away from catcher Steve Yeager. Hebner, before the game, stating that Sutton, a very tough pitcher, with that good screwball, somewhat like Juan Marichal. And you have to hit him almost like a left-hander. Fastball hit weakly off the right side. Davey Lopes has an easy play at first, and he's got help. Richie tied up on an inside delivery. As Sutton is disposed of 2 in a row very quickly. And that'll bring up Al Oliver, who has had 3 hits and 11 times at bat. Al, with a good season again this year, was on base 236 times. Only Stargell was on base more than him. Al had 198 hits, 33 walks, and was hit 5 times by pitches. Sutton's delivery is a high fly ball to right field, pretty deep, but back is Ferguson. He appears to have room at the wall. He's got it right at the wall. Oliver almost got him, just missed it. That's the hardest ball we've hit off Sutton. The 2 games. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. We'll go to the bottom of the first. No score. The Pirates went down in order in the first inning, and Jerry Royce will make his second start in this series. He pitched well the last time out against Sutton, going 7 innings, giving up 5 hits, the only run, a bases-loaded walk to the guy who'll be leading it off, Dave Lopes, to force in the only run that he gave up. The Dodgers scoring 2 big insurance runs against Justy in the 9th inning. But 7 innings, 5 hits, 1 run. He struck out 3, and he walked 4. And another big ball game for Royce. He and Rooker have had to pitch some big ones all season long. Lopes has had 2 hits and 11 times at bat, and he's stepping in against Royce to be followed by Bill Buckner and Jimmy Wynn. Lopes, a late bloomer in baseball. Spent a lot of years in the minor leagues and got a late start, actually, because of going to college out of Providence, Rhode Island. He was a rookie at about 27 or 28 years of age. Pirates shorten up on this fella. He can run. The pitch by Royce is inside. Backs him off the plate. Ball one. Bucks of Hebner, Mendoza, Stennett, and Kirkpatrick in the infield from third to first. Stargell, Oliver, and Parker in the outfield left to right. Royce and Sankey in the battery. The 1-0 pitch. He's inside. Ball two. Jerry, at just age 25, has already won 63 games in the major leagues. The 2-0 pitch by Royce. He's way up high. Ball three. Time call. It's Sanguillen. Goes out to settle the big guy down. And he is big. 6'5", 210, 215 pounds. Bruce Keeson stating that if you would believe that I told you I wasn't nervous yesterday, I'd have to lie, because I was. You have to get nervous in a game like this. If you don't admit it, you're bottling it up someplace, and it's going to show up in other areas. And Keeson was quite frank about it and pitched away a little ball game. You're supposed to get nervous. The 3-0 pitch. He is in there with a strike. Royce as yet has not thrown a real good Jerry Royce fastball. And it'll take him time maybe to settle down here a bit. The 3-1 pitch. And he lost him, ball four. Well, the guy you don't want to get on very quickly is Davey Lopes at first base. He will run. He has stolen 4 times off Royce already this year and has not been cut. Jerry, an easy guy to steal on with that big motion it is, so Lopes will probably be running right from the start. Pirates are wasting no time. They have activity in their bullpen, but that's just Jim Rooker showing in case we play tomorrow. And Royce has got to make sure that could occur. The look at first, and the pitch. It is bunted. No, the fastball up high, ball one. Jerry unable to throw strikes here. Has thrown 6 pitches, and 5 have been balls. Murtaugh will not go long. There's no secret about that. Because with Sutton pitching, runs will be hard to get. The look at first. Buckner squares around. He takes the pitch up high, ball two. Jerry Royce struggling here as we open the ball game. 7 pitches, 6 balls. Buckner was bunting before. See if he is this time. He squares around, and that pitch is in there, taking strike one. The Dodgers in the first inning. With the big guy going, Sutton. They're playing for a run. Kirkpatrick holds Lopes at first. The look there. And the long pause. The pitch, the runner's going. The ball is popped up in the infield. They give him a fake, and there's a play at first base if it ever comes down. No, it's too high up there, and Mendoza makes the grab. A towering high fly ball in the infield. And at second base, Stennett gave Lopes quite a fake there. He fielded, it looked like he was fielding the ground ball. And Lopes was at second base sliding in. He had time to look up and look at Lasorda and still get back to first base before the ball was cut. Well, the Dodgers were bunting. They were taken. They weren't bunting, and they popped it up. And Buckner pops up to the shortstop for the first out. Well, Jimmy Wynn's the batter. 1 hit and 8 at bats, and that was a big double that drove in a run against Justy in the 9th inning of game number 1. Wound up the season at 271. 145 hits and 108 walks. You got to throw strikes to this guy. Ball high to him. He set the National League record for walks in 1969 when he drew 148. Major League record, 162, set by Ted Williams in 1947. Lopes at first, 1 down, no score. Dodger first inning. He's going. The ball is up high. The throw through to second. He is safe at second. Pretty good throw by Sanguillen, but Lopes with his speed, beating the play. And the Dodgers get the runner into scoring position. The count of 2-0 on Jimmy Wynn. Now Jerry going through the same sort of a game that he had in the opening one. A bit shaky in the first inning. Control problems, and it continued through the first couple of innings. The count of 2-0 on Wynn. Royce to the long pause. Checks the runner at second base. Lopes. And the pitch underway to Wynn. Curveball in there, and it's taken strike one. Jerry lost to the Dodgers here 5-0 in June. Beat them in Pittsburgh 7-3 on the 19th of June. And 4-3 in Pittsburgh on the 17th of August. But he lost last Saturday in Pittsburgh on the great performance by Sutton 3-0. But he's 2-2 this year. The runners go up from third. The ball is lined down the left field line. It is a foul ball. Lopes had third base stolen, and fortunately for us, Wynn hooked the ball foul. I think Wynn wants a catcher's interference call or something. He's pointing to John McSherry about something. Talking to Sanguillen now. A bit of byplay between Wynn, Sanguillen, and McSherry. He's pointing at the bat that was out in front of the plate a good 15 feet or so. Well, the count is 2-2. Lopes was running on that and had third base stolen. But the ball hooked foul. Out of play down the left field line. No score, one down. Dodger first inning, game number 4. Stennett keeping Lopes close at second. And a step off and no play. Lopes dives back in head first, but just a fake by Royce. Wynn generally will pull the ball, and we play him that way, and Stennett is right on top of the bag at second. Almost there. Look at second base, and no pickout play. They're just keeping Lopes a bit on it. I doubt that he'll be running now. The count of 2-2. But he does keep you anxious. There's no doubt about that. But look at second again. And another look. And the pitch underway. Fly ball. Center field. Well hit. Way back. Oliver going. He won't get it. It's off the wall. Lopes will score. Wins in at second base with a double. On that ball, it was catchable. It bounced at the base of the wall in center field, but it was well hit. And if he gets the quick jump, he might have been able to catch it, but he did not get the quick jump. And a legitimate double. Jimmy Wynn driving in Dave Lopes from second base. And Royce trails 1-0. Gary just not able to get the pitches where he wants to here. Struggling with control. And he's got a tough hitter to face in Steve Garvey. And again, a runner in scoring position, and we do get activity now. I believe Kenny Brett will start the throw. It will be Ken Brett. Wynn at second base, and the Dodgers lead 1-0, still only one down the first inning. The pitch by Royce, it's outside, ball one. The Dodgers jumping out in front as they had in the two previous ball games in Pittsburgh. But the Pirates took the lead yesterday. Fastball way outside, ball 2. Jerry's inability to throw strikes here, annoying him as he angrily grabs at the ball. And it's a tough way to pitch, and it's a good way to hit. Working behind an account and the hitter on top of him. Royce at the point right now, just feeling his way around in this ball game. But look at second, the 2-0 pitch, grounded to third, and Hebner makes a good play. They tag, no, the throw goes on to first. Wynn is safe there. Hebner almost had the play, but Wynn came over to third, and Garvey goes out 5-3, and that'll bring up Joe Ferguson. Royce got to feel rather fortunate to get out of this with just one run, the way he has pitched here, and hopefully can settle things down a bit. I mentioned yesterday, the first inning is not the easiest one of any game to pitch. You're keyed up a bit and kind of uncertain about things. And in a game of this importance, and particularly for the Pirates, there's no tomorrow. It's excessively so for Royce. Here's the pitch to Ferguson, a right-handed batter. Down low and a curveball, ball 1. Gary working on 4 days rest again for the second consecutive time. The loss of Ellis and Kenny Brett's ineffectiveness has certainly hurt the Pirates in that regard. Curveball down low, 2 balls and no strikes. And again, is behind 2-0. Gary has faced 5 batters and has not been ahead of anybody. Taking a pause, peering up into the crowd. Royce does, gets back on the rubber. Wynn from third base. The pitch underway. Way up high, ball 3. Ron Cey is the on-deck batter. Keeson yesterday stating that the 5 runs in the first inning made his idea of pitching a little bit different and quite a bit easier. The 3-0 pitch. Outside, ball 4. He lost him. 2 walks, a double, and a stolen base, and we're down 1-0. And Don Osborne coming out. Doc Ellis is going down to the Pirates bullpen, and whether Osborne's got a hook here, I don't know. But Royce is certainly struggling to understate the thing here. There's no doubt about it. Jerry is just feeling his way around here in the first inning. He is not comfortable at all. Does not appear to have a good fastball, and location is just not there either. And I mentioned he's been working with 4 days rest the last 2 ball games, and whether that has an effect. And he also had a long 13-inning ball game against the Cardinals that he wound up a loser. Now they're going to stay with him, I'm sure, because Osborne giving no indication that he's going to yank him. He's going to stay right with him. He will pitch to Ron Cey with runners at first and third, 2 down, and the Dodgers leading 1-0. Cey has had 4 hits and 12 at-bats, and they came consecutively in that second game in Pittsburgh. 2 doubles and a home run and a single. Keeson shut the door on him yesterday, as he did most of the Dodgers. Royce will work from the stretch with Ferguson at first, Kirkpatrick holding against him, and Jimmy Wynn at third base. Well, look in the pitch underway. Down low, ball 1. He has not thrown a strike on the first pitch to anybody yet, and has been 2-0 on every batter he's faced here in the first inning. That's a mighty lonely feeling out there when you're going like that. You cannot pass the ball off to somebody and say, here, shoot it. The 1-0 pitch. Inside, ball 2. Now you're behind 2 balls and no strikes for the 6th consecutive batter. The runners lead from first and third, 2 down and only a 1-0 lead, but a big batter up in Ron Cey. And Royce is struggling here. The 2-0 pitch. Fly ball, left field, home run, I believe. Stargell is back, way back at the wall. He's got it at the wall. Willie started back slowly on that ball and put it into high gear, and it was right at the base of the wall, much like Al Oliver's ball in the first inning. And Cey almost gave the Dodgers a 4-0 lead. Stargell made another good grab right at the wall, peering up into the sun. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, 2 left, and we complete 1. The Dodgers lead 1-0. Well, you make a good play and you lead off an inning, is an old baseball adage, and Willie Stargell just made one, taking an extra base hit away from Ron Cey right at the wall. The reaching catch at the 360 mark. He leads off the 3rd inning. Has had 5 hits and 12 at-bats in this series. 2 for 4 are Sutton. Swings and misses, strike 1. The Dodgers lead 1-0. They have their big guy going, Don Sutton. Hopefully Royce, after that shaky first inning, can get things back together. The 0-1 pitch by Sutton. Hit foul off the first base side, a screwball, the count of 0-2. Sutton, the veteran pitcher since 1966, his 9th year in the major leagues. And that's a big plus. The right-hander's 0-2 pitch to Willie. Up and in on him, and the count of 1 ball, 2 strikes. Brilliant sunny afternoon in the Sunfield right now in left field. As the afternoon wears along, it'll drift into center, and then very vicious later in the afternoon in right field. Willie takes a pitch outside, and the count of 2-2. Yeager, doing a bit of umpiring, was set to throw to third base, but he didn't get the call from John McSherry. The Dodgers shifting as they do against Hebner, not an overshift. That's with the shortstop on the first base side of second. The 2-2 pitch. screwball. He struck him out. Stargell goes down swinging. And Sutton continues his mastery over the Pirates, and we'll pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Pirate Baseball Network.
All the good sports are on Pirate KDKA Pittsburgh.
Dave Parker, playing in right field, has not had a hit in 5 at-bats in the series. He pinch hit against Sutton, grounded out. Bounces a high chopper foul off the first base side, strike one. The dimensions here, 330 down both lines, 395 into center field, and the power alley, 370 in right and left center field. It used to be a very difficult home run ballpark, a little bit better now. The pitch to Parker, jamming pitch, topped off the third base side, high bounce, and they won't get him at first base. Parker beats it. Bucks get a high hopping single, and we get our first base hit. Dave going the opposite field, bounced it past Cey, and Russell was set to field the ball, but he got a high hop and through, but he had no play at all on the speedy Parker. Now Parker's on with his first hit in postseason play, and it brings up Manny Sanguillen, who speaks with high praise when he talks of Don Sutton. He calls him the best right-hander in baseball. He said he not only has 1 or 2 pitches that he can throw over, but 4. A slider, curveball, screwball, and fastball, and he knows how to place them. Manny hitting at 287. Has had 4 hits and 13 at-bats during the series. Bucks with the runner at first, and the pitch is grabbed to short. Double play ball, and 6-3 in the double play. Now to put the Pirates down in the second inning. No runs on a hit, no errors, and nobody left. Now we'll go to the bottom of the second. The Dodgers lead 1-0. The second inning for the Dodgers, the 7, 8, 9 batters to go against Royce, who had his control problems in the first inning, finally getting out of it on a long fly ball. The left field looked like a home run shot, but just missing. He'll go against Russell, Steve Yeager, and Don Sutton. In the second inning, the Dodgers lead 1-0. Did the talk on the phone last night with a former Pittsburgher and basketball official, Bob Guy, living out in Los Angeles, suffered a stroke this past summer, but making pretty good recovery, talking well and keeping his spirits up. He got away with a walker he used to have, and now just using a cane. And sends along his best regards to his brother back there. Bill Russell is the leadoff batter, takes a curveball for a strike. Russell's had a good bat in this series, 5 hits and 13 at-bats, and he's hit the ball hard just about every time up. A pitch by Royce, the changeup deep to left field. Stargell drifting back near the warning track down the line. He has room, he's got it. Long high fly ball, deep to left field by Bill Russell. One down, Steve Yeager, hitless in 7 at-bats, will step in. Finished the season hitting at 266, hit a couple of home runs off the Bucks. 12 on the season, 41 RBIs. Pirates will play him to pull the ball. Stargell over toward the line. Oliver shaded in the left center field. The pitch by Royce, and it is swung on a miss, strike 1. That's the good fastball. Royce appears to be a little bit freer and easy with his motion here. His fastball just didn't have much on it in that first inning. The butterflies may be gone. Swing and a miss, strike 2 by Yeager. You get the feeling that had Doug Rao been able to negotiate the first inning yesterday and get his feet on the ground, he might have done better, but the Pirates didn't let him off the hook. The 0-2 pitch. High pop-up and foul off the first base side behind home plate. Sanguillen has the play. He's got him. 2 down. 1-0 lead for Los Angeles, 2 down. And the Dodgers second. And Don Sutton will get a big hand when he steps in. You talk about baseball fans and love affairs and how fickle they are. We were back here in June, and he wasn't pitching very well at all. And he was soundly booed. But he's the darling of Los Angeles now. What have you done for me lately? Well, he's won 10 in a row. For starters, foul on a check swing out of play, strike 1. He drew a big walk against Royce his first time up in the playoff series in Pittsburgh to load up the bases, and then Lopes walked to get in the first Dodger run. Swings on a curve. He didn't get it. Strike 2. Good off-speed pitch by Jerry. Had Sutton completely full. Sutton, by the way, got the Dodgers going in the 9th inning against Justy. So he was instrumental in running the run scoring in that first game as he was with his pitching. Pitch outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. He's a right-handed batter. The 1-2 pitch by Royce. Chopping ball to second base. Stennett gets an easy hop. When he's got Sutton, the Dodgers go down in order in the second inning. Well, we completed 2 rather quickly here, and after 2, the Dodgers lead 1-0. Don Sutton, who has retired 6 in a row, the native of double play to end the second inning, will go against the 7, 8, 9 batters, Kirkpatrick, Mendoza, and Jerry Royce. In the third, leading 1-0. Kirkpatrick celebrated a birthday yesterday, kind of overshadowed by Danny Murtaugh's 57th, but it was number 30 for Spanky. A belated happy birthday to Ed Kirkpatrick. He is hitless in the series, 0 for 7 in the 2 games against Sutton and Messersmith in Pittsburgh. Didn't play yesterday, but he made his Major League debut in this ballpark with the California Angels. Pitch up high, ball 1. Brilliant sunny afternoon. The cloud cover that marred Monday's workout and yesterday's game a bit, no longer existent. The 1-0 pitch by Don Sutton, and it is outside, ball 2. You can't expect Sutton to pitch the same type of game that he did in Pittsburgh. Those come along once in a year, maybe, or not too frequently. But he is still a good pitcher. The 2-0 pitch. Up high, ball 3. Sutton walked only 1. He hit a batter and struck out 6 in that 3-0 shutout in Pittsburgh. The 3-0 pitch to Kirkpatrick. He is up high, ball 4. Now his first walk, the Pirates' second base runner, and that'll bring up Mario Mendoza. The shortstop, Mario had a hit yesterday and drove in a run. He's 1 for 4 on the series. He has replaced Frank Tavares, who was injured in Sunday's ball game, hit by a pitch on the base of the right thumb. Off the pitching of Messersmith. Tavares a bit better today, squeezing a rubber ball and getting some feeling into his hand, but still not 100%. And you're not hurt with Mario Mendoza playing shortstop. Kirkpatrick at first, being held by Garvey. Mendoza swinging away, and the pitch is down low, ball 1. Now Sutton going through some control miseries. Has thrown 5 consecutive balls here in the third inning. He leads 1-0. The pitch underway. Mendoza backs off a pitch inside, ball 2. Now the Dodger crowd getting a bit restless. That's not the way Sutton's supposed to pitch. Wind him up. He's a machine. Not really. Kirkpatrick inching off first. The pitch to Mendoza. He's in with a strike. And the crowd cheers. 2 balls and a strike. The outfield, shallow in Mendoza, and pretty much straight away. Throw to first, Kirkpatrick back in time. Say at third base, in, however, almost even with the bag, a step or 2 in, looking for maybe a bunt, still in this situation. Not bunting, it's line to right field, and Ferguson has a beat on it. He's got it. That'll retire Mendoza. Kirkpatrick comes back to first base. Well, the possibility now of the bunt by Royce is apparent here.
Number 41.
The Dodgers lead 1-0 with 1 down in the Pirates' third inning. Sudden death baseball for the Bucks. It's been that way since game number 2. The Dodgers, well, they have a bit of an edge. They have the luxury of being able to lose the ball game and still coming back tomorrow. That's not the case with the Pirates. Garvey continues to hold, and the pitch is bunted off the third base side, and the play goes where? On to first base. Royce gets the sacrifice done. And moving into second base, Ed Kirkpatrick. The outgoing 5-4. Lopes getting the put out at first base. Cey getting the assist. And the Pirates get a runner into scoring position. That's only the second runner we've had that far off Sutton now in 12 innings of pitching. The only guy to get that far was Kirkpatrick back in Pittsburgh. Rob Skinner's been a lonely man over there at third base coaching. With Sutton on the mound, he'd like some company. See if Stennett can give him some. He flied to right field in the first inning. The tying run at second in Kirkpatrick. The pitch by Sutton. Foul down the right field line. It's out of play. Ferguson getting it a chase, but well into the crowd. Strike one. Stennett had 196 hits during the season. But so far, the only hit he's had in the series was that opening hit yesterday that started the Bucks' 5-run first inning against Doug Rao. He's 1 for 13. He's overdue. Sutton gets the sign from Yeager, the pitch, and it is bounced right back to the glove of Sutton. Boy, what a lucky play that was. He didn't know he had it. He throws on to first for the yard. He never saw the ball. He thought it was out of his glove onto the center field, and he saw something white there, and he grabbed it, and he threw him out at first. They were robbed of a run there, and I guess you have to credit Sutton with a great play. But to be honest with you, he didn't know he had it. He looked up and saw something sticking in his glove, but he wasn't sure it was the ball. No runs, no hits, no errors, and one left. And we go to the bottom of the third. The Dodgers lead 1-0. The third inning for the Dodgers. They're back at the top of the lineup. Lopes, Buckner, and Wynn to go against Royce. And he struggled the first inning against this crew with wildness, but settled down in the second inning, retiring Russell, Yeager, and Sutton in order. The Dodgers lead 1-0. And the crowds here have been rather well behaved. They had some problems out here earlier this year, as they did throughout most of the season. The only unpleasantness we had in Pittsburgh was that final game of the season against the Cubs. The pitch by Royce to Lopes is a curveball in there, taking strike one. Off-speed pitch by Jerry. That's been a very effective one for him this year. He won 16 games, lost 11, and had 14 complete games. The 0-1 pitch. Change in the dirt, gets away from Sankey, and the count of 1-1. Royce was picked up by the Bucks from Houston for Milt May on October the 31st of last fall. And last year at Houston, he was 16-13. This year, his best won and loss percentage, 16-11. The 1-1 pitch by Jerry, grounded in the hole. Tough play, Mendoza. A long throw. The speedy Lopes doesn't beat it. He's out at first, 6-3. That'll bring up Bill Buckner. Popped up to the shortstop, Mendoza, in the first inning. Lopes was running on the pitch, but he got back to first base in time. Buckner, the Dodgers' top hitter this season at .314, takes a curve on the corner, strike one. Buckner pointing to the outside corner at McSherry and telling him, take a look at that. He's really incensed on that call of the strike. Kicking dirt around in the batter's box. Buckner, a very intense ball player, much like Hebner and Pete Rose. The 0-1 pitch by Jerry. Fastball bounced to the right side. Stennett to his right. Picks it up. He throws him out at first. 2 down. Jerry going through this third inning much better and easier than he did in the first. Butterflies in that first inning. No doubt about it. Causing him some problems. The Dodgers got a run. On a walk, a steal of second by Lopes. Buckner popped up. Wynn double to over the head of Oliver into center field. That was it. Win the batter up now with 2 down, nobody on. And the Pirates playing around the left field on Jimmy. Fastball cracks in there, but it's off the inside corner. Ball 1. Wynn was on base 253 times this year and scored 104 runs. That's what you call a productive season. A 1-0 pitch. Change up, and it's just away. Ball 2. Wynn has him again with a count of 2-0. That RBI by Wynn was his second in the series. The 2-0 pitch, up high, ball 3. Garvey, the on-deck batter. Wynn is diminutive, about 5'10", crouches down a bit in the tough strike zone, and he makes you throw the ball over. The 3-0 pitch, ball 4. Wynn draws the third walk given up by Royce. And it brings up Steve Garvey, power-hitting first baseman who drove in 111 runs to lead the Dodgers. Hit 21 home runs and had a 200-hit season. Most valuable player in the 74 All-Star game played in Pittsburgh. Wynn at first base, the threat to do some running. He's stolen 18 times. Kirkpatrick holding against him. The look over and the throw. He's back in time. Royce does not have a good move. And again he goes over and a quick throw back. 2 down, the 2-out walk to win. And Garvey stepping in. The pitch underway to him, and it is outside. Ball 1. He had Wynn leaning that time, and Jimmy completely fooled on that delivery. Started going back to first. The look at first. Wynn leaning, he may be going. And the pitch to the plate, he's holding the fastball just inside ball 2. Royce thought he had a strike there, and McSherry giving up on the pitch. Looked like a pretty good fastball that backed up and caught the inside corner, and Sanguillen didn't like that call at all, shaking his head. It was the same complaint they had yesterday on pitches thrown by Downing and Keeson, too. The umpire's giving up. The pitch, outside, ball 3. Now, Royce going through the same problems now after retiring 3 in a row in the second, the first 2 batters here in the third. Walks Wynn on 4 in a row and has gone 3-0 on Steve Garvey. Garvey could have the green light. He takes a strike. 3-1 the count. 2 down, Wynn at first base. Lasorda clapping his hands to get the attention of Garvey. Flashes aside to him. Wynn with a sizable lead at first base. The look over by Royce and the pitch. Fly ball, deep right center field. It's a base hit. Wynn will score, and it's a home run. A line drive home run by Steve Garvey to right center field. It just cleared the wall. A well-hit ball, a wicked shot, and the Dodgers lead 3-0. With a wickedly hit ball into right center field. And broken it open here for the Dodgers. They lead 3-0. Ferguson, the batter, takes the curve. A 5, ball 1. Well, Royce very soon, very suddenly just came unglued here. Got the first 2 down, couldn't throw a strike. The same miseries he had in the first inning. And Garvey, with unbelievable strength, took him out of the ballpark to right center field. That ball was hit a ton. You can't believe how strong Garvey is until you see a ball hit to right center field as he hit that one. It was a line drive shot. I didn't think it would go out of here, but it just cleared the fence at 385. If it didn't clear it, it would have gone through it. Foul off third, and a count of 1-2 on Ferguson. Now, Royce, control problems cost him in the first inning, and they come back to get him here in the third. Kenny Brett throwing. And the Dodger power asserting itself against Royce. The 1-2 pitch by Jerry. Up high. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Yeah, the Bucks have got to play catch-up baseball, though there's no tomorrow for them. Curve way up high, ball 3. Jerry just struggling with control here. On again, off again with him. And the Dodgers are making him pay. Here's a 3-2 pitch by Royce. And way outside, ball 4. The Dodgers have had only 2 hits, a double and a home run. But 4 walks have been the undoing of Royce. Don Osborne, standing in the Pirate dugout, has not made a move at the top step yet, but he's up there with his hands on his hips. Sanguillen and Stennett out to talk to Royce as Ron Cey steps in. Cey narrowly missed a home run in the first inning. He took Stargell right back to the wall for a leaping catch. No move by the Pirate bench. They're going to stay with Royce. He'll be pitching to Ron Cey. And I believe now the move is coming. That's going to be all for Jerry Royce. So he will take an early shower here in game number 4. He goes 2 2/3 innings, and very suddenly the bottom fell out on him. Wildness causing his problems. He gave up only 2 hits. He didn't strike at anybody, but 4 walks, and he was not ahead of anybody throughout the time he was on the mound. Just an unusual performance for Jerry. has pitched well all season long. The only 2 games that he really didn't pitch well. Earlier in the season, against the Cubs, when we were beaten 19-9, he gave up 10 runs in 1 1/3 inning. And the other game against the Philadelphia Phillies, when they banged him for 13 runs in 5 innings. Now, you take those 2 games away from him, and earned run average would be way down. But this afternoon, he just did not have his usual control, and I would guess composure, too. He will depart rather quickly. Well, the Dodgers do something they would like to do. Get rid of the starter and get into the bullpen with 2 down in the 3rd inning. Ken Brett will be coming on. He's a native of this area and has not pitched too much since the All-Star game. He hurt his elbow and has won only 1 game since July 27th, and that occurred in September when he came back off a long delay of some 5 or 6 weeks without pitching a ball, and he came on to beat the Chicago Cubs in a high-scoring game. He won 6 innings, shutting them out. The Pirates winning the game 12-4. Now, Jerry Royce, I know, dejectedly and disappointed leaving the ball game. But he's had a big year, and one of the reasons the Pirates got as far as they did had to be his strong pitching. 16 wins and 11 defeats, and this thing isn't over yet. Don Sutton, human. Like anybody else, he can have some rough times. Ran into some control problems there in the 3rd, and took a great play by Sutton himself to get out of the inning. Took a base hit away from Rennie Stennett. We're down 3-0. We were down 3-0 against Steve Carlton one time and came back to beat him. Now, they're pitchers of the same caliber. But what we need from Brett is some very solid pitching, because a long relief role is something you've got to have to keep the game in check. As I said, there's no tomorrow for the Bucks. Brett's record on the year, 13-9. And earned run average of 3.30. He was the class of the league up to the All-Star game, but came up with a tender elbow and just inflamed and blew up on him. And he sat idle for about 5 or 6 weeks. And the Pirates, despite that, got the great performances by Doc Ellis and Larry Demery to go on an extended winning streak, winning 20 of 28 games in August, and went on to win their 4th Eastern Division title. He'll face Ron Cey with a runner at first base, and Joe Ferguson, the 4th walk given up by Royce, and Brett facing Ron Cey, who fly very deep to left field his first time up. Kirkpatrick is playing off the bag behind Ferguson. Cey stepping in, and Brett's first pitch. Fastball in there, taking strike 1. Cey didn't like the call. Looks back at John McSherry. Thought the pitch was outside. The pitch by Kenny, fastball, hits the left field. Stargell will make the play. That's very deep but very high, and he's got it. That'll retire the Dodgers in the 3rd inning. They score 2 runs on only 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left. Now we've completed 3, and the Dodgers lead 3-0.
Pirate Baseball has been brought to you by Iron City Beer. When you're really ready to pour on the iron. Well, the Dodgers on top 3-0. They have 2 hits, we have 1 hit. Oakland, last I heard, was trailing 0-2, or rather winning 2-0, and they only had 1 hit. Cuellar apparently walking a few. Here's Hebner standing in, and Sutton throws a strike. Hebner grounded to second back in the 1st inning. Sutton getting the sign now from Yeager. And the right-hander works, turns it over. Hebner fouls to the left. Coming hard, Cey, it'll be up into the seats. 0-2. Pirates, if they lose today, will come home tomorrow afternoon. Leaving around noon or 1 o'clock, which is 4 o'clock back east. Getting in around 8 or 8:30 at night. But they'll come home tomorrow night regardless. a little later if they win today. Here's the 0-2. Hebner watching inside for the ball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Sutton on the 1-2 pitch brushes him back. The loss of Doc Ellis and Ken Brett really hurt the Pirates more than you would imagine. Ball 2, strike 2. Hebner strikes out swinging. When you lose a pitcher the stature of Doc Ellis with a broken hand and only 6 weeks to go in a season, and then you lose Brett for 6 weeks with his stature with a bad elbow, as the Dodgers lost only 1 in Tommy John, and they were able to withstand that. The Pirates were able to withstand the loss of not only their 2 starters, but their relief pitcher, Dave Justy, for 10 days with a bad back. But it finally showed up, Oliver fouls back, when it got down to where 3 men had to try to bear the load of Royce and Rooker. In that combination. And finally getting Justy back into the lineup, along with Demery when we had to. Ball 1 and strike 1. And the 1-1 pitch. Beat off the first base side. Up comes Garvey for it. 2-away. Hard to say what manager Murtaugh would have done if he'd had Brett healthy and Ellis healthy. You got to assume that the Dodgers would have seen both of them in the series. And it does make a difference. But that's all part of this game of baseball. That's why he had 25 men on the squad. Here's Stargell. Struck out in the second. Dodgers lead 3-0. Sutton to the windup deliver. Stargell swings and fouls it straight back. The Dodgers need to win this one for more than one reason other than the National League East or the National League title. They got to get their pitching set up. If they got to go tomorrow, they're really fouled up if they should win it then, because they wouldn't have any starting pitching going against Oakland. Ball high. They blow both Sutton and Messersmith if they don't win today. And I wouldn't want to take my chances of what they'd have to throw out there in the first game against either Baltimore or Oakland, because after Sutton and Messersmith, you ain't got much you can talk about in Dodgerland. I'm not depreciating Mr. Rao or Downing and company, but I'll guarantee you they aren't going to make anybody lie awake at night wondering what you're going to do to hit them. So they just don't have it. They got a 2-man pitching staff with some help on about the intermediate level from the others, with Mike Marshall in the bullpen. That's the key. 2-1 delivery, hit foul out of play. Down the left line, 2-2. 2 down in the Pirates' 4th inning. Dodgers leading 3-0. All right, here's the 2-2 to Wilbur. And he goes down swinging. Third strikeout for Don. Oh, we go to the bottom of the 4th, and the Dodgers lead 3-0. Here's shortstop Billy Russell standing in now. And he flied to left field. First time up. Now they're putting some information up on the Fanagram at Baltimore. Going into the 9th inning, that means Oakland would be at bat. Charlie Finley, as the runner-up Miss America, said in his box, and on TV today, she gave the lineup for the Oakland Ball Club. I don't know whether he's going with her or what. I don't, but if he is, he's given away at least 50 years in age. Oakland's leading Baltimore 2-0 going into the 9th. It's a strange situation. Mr. Finley took this young lady down on the field, introduced her to all his players yesterday. Had her make the announcement on the national television. And the camera stayed on her all along, sitting right there with old Charlie. She's Miss California, I think, wasn't she? Foul back, 2-2 to Russell. present, Mrs. Finley and Charles are estranged, to say the least. Russell up there batting against Brett, who's in relief of Royce. And he pops him foul out of play. I'll tell you one thing, win or lose today, no matter what happens to the Pirates the rest of this season, you better look for Pittsburgh to have one whale of a ball club next year. Stennett will be that much better. He's only 23 years of age. He'll be the best second baseman in the league. Defensively. Now, I'm not comparing him with Morgan offensively yet. Bouncer to third, Hebner up. Throws across, one out. Parker is 6'5", 230 pounds, runs 109.6. And he is some animal out there. He can fly, and he's going to be a whale of a ball player. And you got young Zisk, young Al Oliver, Mendoza, and Taveras. They'll have to come up with another catcher to back up Sanguillen, but I think they've already got him in mind. But with the pitching of young Demery, who's only 21 years of age, and Brett and company, I guarantee you one thing, Doc Ellis and all, you'll see those Pirates open up the National League East like a can of worms next year. If they don't get anybody hurt, they'll destroy it. There's too much firepower on this ball club. You can't keep them at bay that often. 1 ball, no strikes, 1 out, 3-0 Dodgers. Yeager the batter. And Brett's high ball, 2-0. I'm sure General Manager Joe Brown will be looking around for a little more relief hurling. But there are not too many spots you got to worry about. Ball 3, and Brett didn't like the call. Murtaugh's the only manager in baseball with the luxury of 5 shortstops that can play without hurting you. Sure. 3-0. He's got 2 that are on a par fielding-wise, Taveras and Mendoza. Mendoza's as fine a fielding shortstop you'll see anywhere. There isn't a shortstop in Concepcion included can field with this kid. He's unbelievable. Well, he's just walked Yeager, and Brett doesn't believe it. That's the 5th walk. But you see, you can also play Stennett at short, Arthur Howe at short, who's awfully good, and Paul Popovich on our club. So we got lots of shortstops. And all of them can also play second and third. Now, there's one of the big advantages, and it'll be something to behold next year. Here's Sutton in. Hebner comes up tight at third now. And the ball bunted right to Brett. He goes to second. There's 1. Back to first. No, Shag Crawford, you may have been safe, but you called it too soon. Shaggy, baby, you anticipated that one. You had a safe out before the runner or the ball ever got there. I'm going to watch it on my replay here now. There's Brett, and he nailed that donkey, all right. Now let's see what this one is. Oh, he was safe, but he called him safe before he ever got there. He anticipated. Doggone right, he called him safe. 1-6 on the play. Sutton at first. That's all right. Let him be a base runner. Now hit a double and throw him out at the plate and see how he can pitch after that. Here's Lopes. Walked and scored and grounded to short. Takes a strike. Nothing partial about us, is there, Mike? No balls and a strike to Lope. Kemi Brett delivers. Curve, it's punched to right. That's making him run. Go on, go to third. All right, now Lopes is going to get thrown out at second for being a knucklehead. See, it worked out all right. Parker trapped him into making him think he fumbled the ball, and Lopes ran into the trap, and he threw him out to Mendoza at short. And Sutton had to run like a bullet to get all the way to third, you see, so that worked out just like I called it. To tell you the truth, on the replay, I think Lopes was safe. But anyhow, they called him out. That's Davidson down here at second, so anything can happen. Base hit for Lopes. And put Sutton over to third, have Lopes out. Parker, the right fielder, to Mendoza. No runs a hit, no errors, 1 left. At the end of 4, Dodgers lead 3-0.
refrigerator? I'll tell you about a great refrigerator coming your way from Westinghouse. It's a big 21 cubic foot job that never ever needs defrosting. It's got 3 doors and 4 zones of cold, because Westinghouse knows you should keep different foods at different temperatures. And if you like, it's even got an optional automatic ice maker. How's that for smart shopper value? And every Westinghouse refrigerator is backed by dependable nationwide sure service, no matter where you live or move in the U.S. You can be sure if it's Westinghouse.
Murtaugh has asked John McSherry something, and they're going to call out Walter Alston. They want to talk. Murtaugh's lodging a protest of some sort. And they're examining Sutton's glove and all, and Alston has been brought out by John McSherry. And now Walter wants to know from John what it was that Danny wanted to know about. And whether he thought he was falling for something that would upset his pitcher. I tell you, I like John McSherry as an umpire. I really do. He's young, very aggressive. He knows the rules. He's around the scene every time. Walter's smiling a little bit there. There's nothing really upsetting. But he has to go through. The only thing that bothers me about umpiring the way they do it here is that they got a union that denies you using the best umpires in a World Series or a championship series. They make you rotate the umpires. Now, you got 24 umpires in each league. You're not going to tell me they're all as good as the other. There ain't no way. There's got to be some better than the others. They don't always get in. Parker, the batter. Strike swinging. Don Sutton. Again in a wind-up in the 0-1 to Dave, and he fouls it back. St. Louis Cardinals don't know what to do with Mr. Parker. His lifetime average is .548 against them. In 2 years, they can't get him out. Well, they get him out a little bit because obviously 1,000 would be perfect, but it's unbelievable what he does to him. The 0-2 pitch. And down he goes. And I'll say this, the bottom fell out of that pitch. I just think he got a great screwball. I never knew Don to ever wet one up. If he is, he's pretty good at it. And the bottom's dropping right out of it, I'll tell you that. But I'm not accusing him of that. I don't think he's ever been accused of throwing a spitter. We might have just asked to find out anything to try to shake him up. As far as I'm concerned, he's a whale of a pitcher, period. He's better than Messersmith, in my opinion. As of this year. I think over the past few years, Don's been better. There's a strike call. They're into the bottom of the ninth at Baltimore. Baltimore has just one hit. Rather, Oakland has just one hit, but they got something like 7 or 8 walks from Cuellar, and they lead 2-0. No balls and a strike, 1 out. And snacked off down the right side, Lopes up. Throws out Sanguillen. That'll bring up Kirkpatrick, drew a walk in the 3rd inning. Dodgers lead 3-0. Well, I hope the Dodgers don't embarrass us and get beat by Oakland 4 straight. See, that'd be embarrassing. 1 strike. What's today, Wednesday? Well, Sutton could pitch Sunday's game, could he? Yeah. Monday's I don't know if Monday's an off day or now if the series is on the coast. If it's out here, maybe. I think it's set up for the off day anyhow to give Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday TV a shot. Sutton misses to Kirkpatrick, 2 balls a strike. 2 down, 5th inning, 3-0 Dodgers. They've had 3 hits, we've had 1. Well, one of their hits was a home run. I thought the ball Garvey hit. If it didn't go over the wall, he was going to knock it down. Oh, did he hit it. Mackey hits a fly ball opposite field to left. Buckner driving over, one hands the ball. That'll retire the side. So 3 up and 3 down, and we go now to the bottom of the 5th inning, and the Dodgers lead 3-0.
Whether you cook for a couple of Little Leaguers or a marching band, Westinghouse has an electric range that'll do the job, with convenient features like self-cleaning ovens, plug-out surface units, and the exclusive no-turn speed broil. See a Westinghouse range today at your Westinghouse dealer. You can be sure if it's Westinghouse.
The Dodgers in the 5th, Buckner, Wynn, and Garvey. Ken Brett. Royce was on the hook. They stuck a fork at him and found out he was well done after 2 2/3 innings. 3 runs, only 2 hits, but he walked 4, and boy, they killed him. They just killed him, those bases on balls. Like we said earlier on the TV side, they asked Hugh Lenz on his deathbed, what's killing you? And he says, with his dying breath, a base on balls. In Baltimore, 2 on, 1 out. Tommy Davis at bat hit into a double play, so Boog Powell at bat now. With 2 men on and 1 out, and 2-0 Oakland. Now Brett's waiting for Stargell to finish tying his shoelaces. And Wilbur's going to tie his left one and his right one. And the fans are upset at Wilbur tying his brogans. Take your time, Will. All right, now then, Boog Powell just singled to center field. That scored Blair, and it's 2-1 now. Well, Stargell's still tying his shoelaces. Now they got another batter up. We'll find out who that is. That's the second hit. Well, it may be more than that for Baltimore. They've only got 1 out, and runners have got 2 men on. I don't know where the other guy might have gone to third. I don't know. Now Baylor is up. And the batter here, Buckner, fouls away. It's about time for Charlie Finley to reach over and hold Miss California's hand. This is a crucial moment. There, the ball popped up, back out of play. Now, Jim Palmer's gone in to run for Boog Powell. So they got 2 men on, 1 out, 2-1 Oakland leading in the bottom of the 9th at Baltimore, and the game that ends it all if Oakland wins it. Same as here if the Dodgers win it. Buckner leading off. Brett here, no balls, 2 strikes to him. Here's the 0-2. He struck him out swinging. First strikeout against the Dodgers. Here's Wynn. He doubled over the head of Oliver in the first inning, walked and scored in the 3rd. One out in the 5th. Dodgers lead 3-0. Kemmer Brett delivers. He's over the plate low, ball 1. One ball and no strikes. And a swing and a foul by the toy cannon. 1 ball, 1 strike. One out, none on. 5th inning. Dodgers leading 3-0. Bucks come home tomorrow for sure, but the question is when. If they win today, they get home late at night. If they lose today, they get home about 7 o'clock tomorrow night. Ball 2 and strike 1 here to Wynn. Brett to the windup. Kicks, comes down, breaking ball, missing 2-2. 3 balls and a strike. It says up there, here, 3 of them. I thought the strike count was different than that. I'll have to wait and see. Pitch. Well, it's walking. Well, that's the next second walk for him. 6th walk in the game for the Dodgers. Here's Garvey. Garvey, you hit the home run to the opposite field. It's a big blow of this ball game. Came with a man aboard off Royce, who had just previously walked Jimmy Wynn, as Brett has now done. Takes a curve from Brett. Time call. Sanguillen wants to check. Sanguillen and Kemmer Brett have a little conference. Yes, sir, you lose Brett for 6 weeks. You lose Ellis for 6 weeks. And lose him for the series. You're hurt. Well, they're down to 1 out in Baltimore with 2 men on. There's a ball hit deep to left field. Home run. He's walked twice. Takes a strike. Now, I'll say one thing. A nicer guy in baseball couldn't have hit those 2 home runs than Steve Garvey. I will not begrudge him that. There's a ball hit for the gap in left center. Stargell goes over, one-hands the ball beautifully as they put up on the board that Oakland's won the American League Championship 2-1. It'll be an all-California World Series unless the Pirates pull a miracle here. Will be Ron Cey. Twice the fly to left. Dodgers lead 5-0. Can you imagine Oakland winning a game 2-1 and only getting 1 hit? Yesterday they only got a couple and they won 1-0. The Dodgers are going to have their work cut out for them when they play the Oaklands, who will have the incentive of trying to win 4 World Series in a row. It's only been done once in baseball. The Yankees did it 5. Ain't nobody ever done that before. Ball 1, strike 1. School's out now. I can get away with those double colloquialisms. Ball 1. Well, Garvey's hit 2 homers, bringing in Wynn both times who had walked before him. And he smacks the ball out into center field, and Oliver diving can't get it. And Parker picks it up. Cey has a double. Oliver's slow getting up. Now I think he's going to be all right, but Tony Barterone's running out to see if he's okay. Could have been shaken there. He took a header, and he could have landed right on his cup. Baseball players wear cups. Now he's winging his right arm, and double checking on that one. He dived for that ball, trying to get it. Tony Barterone was out to double check him. Got a shot at him here on my monitor as he dives. That's that right arm that he landed on as he tried to backhand the ball. That had to stretch those arm ligaments a little bit. Now will remain in a game. No, sir. I don't like to lose, and anybody else does, but I'll tell you one thing. Steve Garvey is an all-America guy. He's a great football player. The kid, his father's a bus driver, and he came out of it. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but he's so proud of that. And his father, I guess, used to drive the Dodgers around at Vero Beach in Florida when they go around to play ball. And Garvey was always had the aspirations to be a baseball player. Went to Michigan State, played football under Duffy Doherty. Was a great football player. And then came into baseball and has taken over here. And he's just was a write-in candidate, if you remember, for the All-Star game. And Pittsburgh ended up playing there and being the most valuable player. So how could you ask for anything better for the dream of a young man than what Garvey has seen? Russell fouls back. And he's got a shot at being the MVP of this club. He'd have to probably fight off Jimmy Wynn for those honors. Although I'll tell you, Marshall, I don't think Marshall should get it. I think he should be Cy Young material, but he could possibly get it. I tell you, there's one thing you better never overlook. Whatever you do, don't overlook a man by the name of Lou Brock. He did something without what he would have did. The Cardinals would have been nowhere in the race. They lost on the final day of the season. 1-1 to Russell. Say at second with a double high. We'll pause for station identification. It's the Pirate Baseball Network.
All the good sports are on Pirate KDKA Pittsburgh.
There's a ball popped off the right side. Kirkpatrick looks like he might have room. Goes over near the Pirate dugout. One hands the ball. That'll retire the side. Garvey's going to get a lot of hands when he comes out to play first base. It's 2 runs, 2 hits, no errors, 1 left. Listen to the hand for Garvey. Standing ovation as the young man runs out to first base. Standing ovation for Steve Garvey. And we go to the 6th inning. Dodgers lead 5-0.
We're number 1. Hands down. We're number 1. Hands down. We're Chrysler Plymouth.
When you've got America's best-selling small car line, hey, that makes you number 1.
That's number 1.
Take it from me, Mary Jean. We've got it. And our best seller of all is Plymouth Duster.
That's number 1.
So why is our Duster so popular? Maybe it's because there's room for 5 people, or because the trunk's so big, or the gas mileage so good. All I know is when you see the new Duster at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
You have to start clapping. And we'll make it happen. We'll make you number 1. Hands down. We're Chrysler Plymouth.
See America's number 1 selling car at your Pirate-Land Chrysler Plymouth dealers.
Well, Paul Popovich is coming out. He's going to bat for Mendoza. And Ken Brett's going to bat for himself, I think. He's as good a swinger as you can put in there anyhow. Oaklands have won their 4th consecutive West American League title. Under amazing circumstances. Tennis yesterday said Dark's one of the dumbest managers he ever knew. Threw his headgear and missed Dark. Didn't want to throw it at him. Dark threw it back someplace else. Vida Blue won't talk to anybody. When you bring up the name of Charles Finley, he says the man has ruined everything. The only time I'll ever be happy when I can get out of this organization. But they keep winning. Yeah. Popovich a bloop into left center, and it's going to be dropping. Buckner diving, can't get it. Oh, I hope he's not hurt. I hope he's not hurt. He's holding on to his side. Oh, they can ill afford to lose Buckner. Boy, he landed on his elbow there. Hey, that's the thing that bothered me, his left arm. He's going to be all right, I think. But Popovich has another base hit. He's been phenomenal as a pinch batter. He's had about 11 hits in the last 15 at-bats as a pinch hitter. Bread bats. Jammed on the pitch, hits it weakly to Garvey. Only the one play, they call it foul. So it's a foul ball. Nothing in one count. No balls, one strike. Cammy Brett standing in. Popovich the runner at first. Down low from Don Sutton. Ball one, strike one. Brett, before his career is over, could own the major league title for the most home runs as a pitcher. He's hit 11. Ball one, strike two. 1-2 to count here. Popovich at first, 5-0 Dodgers, 6th inning. Sutton checks Popovich. Brett takes high, 2-2. Ball two, strike two. Down low. On top of all that Oakland stuff, Mr. Finney brings out Miss California, runner-up Miss America. Takes her down on the field, introduces her to all the players. Some of them, they say, even miss batting practice just to look at her and visit with her. I'll tell you, that's unbelievable. 3-2 pitch. Brett strikes out swinging. That'll bring up Stennett. He was out on the 3rd inning in a ball that Sutton never even knew he had. Hit the ball in one hop right back into his glove. Sutton never knew he had it. If he gets by him, it ties the ball game up at that time, 1-1. But it was inevitable the way things are going. The Dodgers are destined to pop you. And pop they are. Leading here 5-zip. Garvey's hit a pair. Each time with a man on, both times with a walk. 6 walks given up by the Pirates. You do that to a good ball club, you're hurting. There's a line drive to Sutton he doesn't know he has, and he gets a double play. I'd rather be lucky than good. He's good, but he's also lucky. We go to the bottom of the 6th, 5-0 Dodgers. 74. Yeah, we beat him. No. All right, Paul Popovich is going to be in, and Larry Demery, 21 years of age, will be pitching. I'll make a correction. Mike Walden has double-checked this for us. Oakland is after their 3rd straight world championship. The edge they'll have over the Dodgers will be pitching-wise in depth and guys that aren't going to run scared. Now, like Gary Player said, don't anybody ever tell you that you don't choke up, because you're a liar if you say you don't choke. It's just the degree to which you choke. And when Ron Cey and Russell and Lopes, Ferguson and Yeager and Garvey and company get in a World Series, don't tell me they're not going to feel some pressure. And the pressure would affect them far more adversely, I would believe, than it would the Oaklands, because they've been in the heat twice. That's the only way I could analyze the series. Well, while we have a moment, let's pause 20 seconds for our local stations.
The new Point State Park Fountain has regular operating hours, mornings from 8 to 9:30 and 11 to 1, plus afternoons from 4 to 7. On the weekend, the fountain's on from 11 in the morning until 7 at night. KPKA invites you to visit this new addition to someplace special, a landmark that helps get our point across to the world.
I had said earlier back in Pittsburgh, the game that would haunt the Pirates in this series would be the second game. That's the game where they had the chance to go into the 1-1 tie. But Messersmith beat him with nothing. He had absolutely nothing. And the Pirates fell into his trap. He couldn't throw strikes, but they kept hitting bad balls, pulling them down the line, popping them up. But they finally tied him up 2-2, and then in the bullpen, Justy and Sanguillen's unwise throws gave the Dodgers 3 runs that gave them in the 9th inning to win the game. That game there will haunt the Pirates in this 1974 season, because the way things have gone, today's game would have just tied it up for the Dodgers and put it all on the line for tomorrow. That's something you're not going to see unless the Bucks can come from way back. Demery, the right-hander, just 21 years of age, came up in about July when we lost Brett. Ball 3 low. Won 6 games in a row. He has lots of stuff. He's going to have to go to winter ball and improve a couple of things. The one thing he has that not many pitchers can do, Brock has tried 7 times to steal a base against him and has failed all 7 times. Strike. He just stays there and just holds on to the ball till Brock gets tired of staying out there. And then Brock would go back toward first and Demery come to the plate. And then when he thought he had him timed to strike, he'd start for the bag and Demery'd pick him off. 21 years of age, my friends. You remember the name of Larry Demery. California youngster. Nickname on the ball club, the Frog, because of the way his eyes protrude. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Bouncing foul, had Lasorda jumping before the ball ever got near him. And a gentleman fell out of the box down there, trying to get the ball. Ball 3, strike 2. To Yeager. He's lost him on a walk. That's 7 walks. That'll bring up Sutton. Big hand for Don, and deservedly so. He's pitched the well of the game. And they're interrupting the game to get him a standing ovation. And they have a picture there on television of his wife. He's standing up now, watching her husband get all the applause. Well, that's quite a tribute. Now the game will resume. And we'll strike Sutton out. Or something. He'll try to bunt, I would think. And they're running. They throw, and Yeager steals. That time, Demery was careless. Now, if that had been Brock, he'd have been alert to the fact Brock could steal. This guy was walking over to second before Demery ever went to the plate. Now, let's see what they're going to try to do here. We're up on the corners. He bunts a foul off first. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, if we lose today, I can save $280. Give back 40 box seats that I'm going to need. Some banker out here. Yeah, you want them for souvenirs? And Demery fields the bunt, holds the runner second, and throws out Sutton. No advance, just an infield out. Here's Lopes, walked and scored, single and 2 at-bats. Well, my secretary can turn in all the whatever I have in the way of World Series tickets to. And we'll play again another year. Well, even if we're to lose this, this has been a great season, folks. You come on down, we've won 4 of the last 5 years. We've won the Eastern Division Championship and 1 World Championship. That ain't all bad. And the one we did lose, we were eliminated on the final day of the season. From dead first place tie with 4 to 3rd place. On the final, we had to play San Diego the day after to determine whether or not we were going to be in a tie or finish 3rd. And they came all the way back from the coast and knocked our brains out. So, you got to say, Buccos have been playing some great baseball. You cannot deny that. That ball's hit into right center. Oliver can't get it. Going all the way to the wall. Yeager will score. And they throw the ball into the Dodger dugout, and Lopes gets the score. charge an error to Stennett on the throw to third, allowing Lopes to score. Dodgers now lead 7-0. Here's Buckner 0 for 3. And the Bucks are being tattooed now. Well, they throw him out 4-3. Finally got him out. 2 down. Thank you, Mike. Win with a double and 2 walks. One ball and no strike. Larry Demery working to him. In there, first strike and a count of 1-1. Ball 1 and strike 1 here to Jim. Scored a pair of runs, driven in a run. And takes it low, ball 2, 2-1. Larry Demery. Brett went 2 1/3 for 2 runs on 3 hits. The batting star here today has been Garvey with 2 2-run homers. And the pitching star, of course, has been Sutton. They'll divide the honors quite evenly. And deservedly so. Ball 2, strike 1. Up high, ball 3. Oakland has won their 3rd straight title. Three-one. Popped him up. Third baseman Hebner shading his eyes. Stays with the ball and almost drops it. They get 2 runs. 1 hit, 1 error, and nobody left. Dodgers at the end of 6, way out in front, 7-0.
We've got America's #1 selling small car. The reason? Our valiant dusters and scamps. But we don't stop there. We've got the new small Fury, Fury Sport. Brand new styling in a smaller Fury package. And Cordova, our new small Chrysler. That's right, small Chrysler. And our full-size Chryslers have some great new looks, too. So come on in to your Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
We'll make it happen. It's #1. Let's go.
See America's #1 selling car at your Pirate-Land Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
Pirate Baseball has been brought to you by your Pirate-Land Chrysler Plymouth dealer. Your host now is Joy, nature's high-protein food for dogs. Higher in protein, and it still costs less than most other brands. The Dodgers have a lead of 7-0 against the Pirates into the final 3 innings, and they're only 9 outs away from a National League title. Hebner, first ball hitting, fouls out of play, strike 1. And Don Sutton, doing another whitewash job here, has allowed only 2 hits over the front 6 innings. And he stranded only 1 runner, and that occurred in the 3rd inning. The crowd getting a bit exuberant here, realizing what's going on. Foul by Hebner off the first base side. Angrily drops his bat at home plate. Strike 2. Long season of baseball, and it's always disappointing to get this far, and you wind up losing. But it's nice to be here. It's better than being in St. Louis at this time of the year. But that's what it's all about. You You got to win and you got to lose. At least you competed and did pretty well. Hebner fouls back out of play. Strike two. This game not over, but it would take some sort of a comeback against the pitching of Don Sutton and a guy named Mike Marshall hanging around the bullpen. It's happened before. Changeup way up high, 1 ball and 2 strikes. I guess the biggest comeback had to be in the World Series in the 20s, I guess, and the Philadelphia Athletics scored, I think, 10 runs in the 8th inning to win a ball game. Hebner pops foul out of play down the third base side, and the count holds at a ball 2 strikes. Sutton with a 1-2 pitch. Way up high, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Don Sutton started this year very slowly. He was 6 wins, 8 defeats on the 20th July. He wound up 19-9. He has won 1 game already in the playoffs. On a shutout on a 4-hitter, he leads 7-0 on a 2-hitter into the 7th. And we have not had a runner get as far as third base off him any time in the last 15 innings. That's how dominant his pitching has been. Hebner looks at a pitch up high, ball 3. And a runner to second base in the 3rd inning, Kirkpatrick, and he's been the only Pirate runner in 2 games that has gotten as far as second, both times on walk. He struck out Hebner. That's the 2nd time he's nailed Hebner in his 6th strikeout. Richie 0 for 3. Key to Sutton's pitching has been keeping guys off base, but the guys he's really kept off have been Stennett, Hebner, Oliver. They have not been on base against him at all in the 2 games. Stargell's had a couple of hits. Oliver's been shut out against Sutton. And Messerschmitt did the same type of job. Curve right there, taking strike 1. Dodgers got a run in the 1st, 2 in the 3rd, 2 in the 5th, 2 in the 6th. Foul out of play by Oliver, and a count of 1-2. Steve Garvey suddenly erupted against Jerry Royce after a shaky 1st inning. 2 outs and nobody on. He walked Jimmy Wynn on 4 pitches, went 3-0 on Garvey. He took a strike, and then took Royce out of the park into right center field, a wicked shot. He then had another 2-run homer off Brett. Oliver chased the pitch, and I think he went around. He did, strike 3. He hit the pitch was 5 feet in front of the plate. 7 strikeouts, and Sutton just has us baffled. Oliver is called out, and they tagged him. He goes to first base, but he's out. He tagged him. Yeager tagged him. The Pirates arguing that Yeager tagged Oliver. Makes an argument on the play. He's going to come out now and wants to argue the play, but Danny, I think you missed it because he tagged him. The screwball by Sutton bounced in front of the plate, embarrassingly so for Oliver, about 5 feet in front of home plate. He didn't want to swing, but he started and kind of did a half swing on it, but went around. Yeager picked up the ball and tagged Al Oliver, and then threw it to 3rd. And Murtaugh's arguing, but Danny, I wish I could say you were right, but there ain't no way. Danny tried to get as much out of this as he can, I guess. They went out to check Sutton's glove at one time, wearing a bit of gamesmanship or something, but I don't think it's Sutton's glove as much as it is Sutton's hand and arm, right arm. And it doesn't look like we're going to get inside his head. 2 strikeouts in this inning, and he's facing Stargell. He struck him out 2 times in a row, and he's back with a strike on him. He's just like a machine here against the Pirates. We have been dominated sometimes, but not like this guy has done it. Saturday and back again here on Wednesday. High fly to right field. Beat back. Ferguson looking. Home run, Stargell. Yeah, Willie finally solves it. It had to happen sometime. They finally get a run off Sutton. With 2 down and nobody on, Stargell bangs a home run. Got a pitch low down around the knees. Looked like it might have been a screwball. And Willie lofted it high to right field into about the 2nd or 3rd row. His 2nd home run. And the Pirates finally score a run against Don Sutton. Parker, the batter. He's 1 for 2. And then an infield single in the second inning, struck out in the fifth. Inside of the pitch is Sutton. Ball 1. 7-1. The Dodgers lead. Pops him up off the third base side. Ron Cey. Make the grab and that'll retire the Pirates. 1 run. 1 hit. The home run by Stargell. No errors and nobody left. Then we'll go to the bottom of the 7th. The Dodgers lead 7-1.
Is your dog getting enough protein? You know, protein is a vitally important nutrient in every balanced ration for man's friend. Joy, nature's food for dogs, contains 25% protein in both its kibble and chunks of joy. Furthermore, Joy, this nourishing food for dogs, is a scientific blend of grains and meat solids that provides your dog with a nutritious diet that'll contribute to his good health and habits. So compare labels when you shop for dog food. You'll find Joy's 25% protein content to be higher than most of its competitors. For Joy contains dehydrated meat value equivalent to 60% fresh meat and is fortified by Joy's exclusive double-roasted toasted process. So today, fill your dog's feeding bowl with that high-protein, scientifically balanced dry dog food and watch him jump for joy. That's Joy, nature's food for dogs, with 25% protein. You'll find Joy dog food at your Associated Grocers, Comet, and IGA markets.
The 7th inning, the Dodgers leading 7-1. Larry Demery will face Steve Garvey, Joe Ferguson, and Ron Cey. And Garvey has got to get a big ovation when he steps in. He's had himself an afternoon. That's the 3rd in the 1st inning, and that's been the only time we've kept him in the ball fight. He homered in the 3rd with Wynn on to make it a 3-0 game. Homered off Brett in the 5th inning with Wynn on again with a walk to make it 5-0. Now he's up for his 4th time in this game. He'll be facing Demery. A couple of records have been set already in this series. Paul Popovich with 3 pinch hits has set a record. And the 8 double plays by the Dodgers has also set a series record. They have turned over 2 in this afternoon's ballgame. Garvey with a big eruption, as you can hear in the crowd. Standing and giving him a big ovation. He's had a whale of a year. And we've got to be enjoying this. And he should. Soft-spoken youngster Steve Garvey. A well-liked kid and a whale of a hitter. Demery facing him for the first time. Sends a pitch in there, strike 1. Walks have been the downfall of the Bucks all afternoon. 7 walks, and the Dodgers have made every one of them count. Foul, that a play by Garvey, strike 2. Oakland has already beaten Baltimore. The Dodgers of the victory here this afternoon will be taking on Oakland in the Pacific Coast Series. Oakland winning 2-1. And I think they only had 1 hit. He got another base hit, but he's in the ballpark. Garvey with a single. The Dodgers came to hit today. No doubt about that. And Pirate pitching has been found wanting with the control with 7 walks to go with 7 hits, 2 home runs, a double and a triple. And that's the reason the Dodgers lead 7-1. Joe Ferguson with Garvey at first. The pitch, and there, right on the corner, strike 1. Today is Walter O'Malley's 71st birthday. Pirates gave Murtaugh a present yesterday, and the Dodgers are trying to do it for O'Malley this afternoon. Curve in the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike. Dave Justy and Juan Pizarro throw on the Pirate bullpen. A long pause by Demery. The pitch to Ferguson. He swings and misses, strike 2. Stargell's home run is all the Bucks have gotten off Don Sutton in 16 innings facing him in the playoffs. Curveball away, and the count of 2-2 on Ferguson. Demery will spend a lot of time throwing, and takes a lot of time between pitches. Doesn't work that rapidly. And is not the control pitcher, simply because of age, just 21. But he has a good arm. He's gotten a lot of experience this year in the major league. 116, lost 7. The count of 2-2, the pitch underway to Ferguson. He's down low, ball 3. We've had 7 walks, and Demery just 1 pitch away from number 8 here. Been a rough afternoon. But it's nice getting here. And the job Bruce Keeson did yesterday is going to be remembered. Garvey's going. The ball is fouled out of play on a 3-2 pitch. Keeson seems to be the type of pitcher, although he's only 24 years of age, that if you give him the responsibility of pitching a ball game, he somehow handles it pretty well. And he's proven that in October play. Since 71, he hasn't given up a run in 19 2/3 innings. And this ain't exactly pickup baseball when you're playing in October. You're not playing for a keg of beer. And there's more people watching than have ever watched him in Pasco, Washington, I'll tell you. 3-2 pitch. It's way outside, ball 4. Walk number 8. The Pirate pitching is just inept here this afternoon and trying to throw strikes. Demery with another walk. Royce had 4 over 2 2/3 and was all over the place, and that's going to be all for Demery. He'll lose the ball game as Don Osborne's coming on. Probably get Dave Justy to come on to pitch. General feeling is that Demery would be advantageous for him to pitch in the minor leagues and get a chance to pitch a little bit more often. But he proved that he could pitch up here. That was the general thinking when he first came up. And maybe this guy will be down there someplace where he can pitch every 5 days and learn something about pitching. And he said, I can pitch up here. He's a very confident kid. And he wound up winning 6 games in a row, and he had to have some good pitching with Brett inactive. But he's fallen on some tough times here in September and October. He hasn't had too much success. He's going to leave now, and Dave Justy will come on to do some pitching. Justy making another appearance. This will be his 3rd in the series, and hadn't fared too well in the 2 previous ball games. In Pittsburgh, was touched up for quite a few hits and runs. Pirates defensively didn't do much. He has a booming earned run average in this series of 23.50. He lost the 2nd game of the playoffs. Messerschmitt beating him. His record in this series 0-1. He's been tagged for 8 hits and 5 runs and 3 walks, all of them intentional walks, in 2 innings of pitching. That is not Dave Justy's kind of pitching. And had it not been for his great pitching down the stretch, and particularly in the second half of the year, Pirates wouldn't be in another Eastern Division title bid, and rather than a chance to win a National League title. Justy's record 7-5. This is his 3rd appearance here, the 67th time he has come in to pitch. You may remember he had a couple of starts. The first start he had was against the Dodgers and shut them out 2-0 back in Pittsburgh when he was going through the relief miseries. Now Justy comes on. Larry Demery leaves the mound, hustling off, as has been his case. Larry goes 1 inning plus, faces 2 batters here. He's responsible for Garvey at second base, Ferguson at first base with a walk, and Ron Cey will bat against Dave Justy. Demery's tagged for 2 runs so far. And has given up 2 hits, 2 walks. Didn't strike anybody out. Pirates have had only 1 strikeout to go with 8 walks and 7 hits. So the Dodger bats have taken advantage of everything we've given them, and we've given them a lot. I'm sure the Pirates thought they would do much better against the Dodgers, particularly with the bats than they have done. The only game they showed anything was yesterday, as Sutton shut them out the first game. Messerschmitt allowed them 2 runs in a kind of a listless performance on Sunday. But they came back and won a big ball game yesterday to extend it to 4 with some lusty hitting off Doug Rao. But Sutton's back again doing his job here this afternoon. And the Dodgers have jumped on Pirate pitching for the first time, really taking advantage of everything. They stranded a host of runners over the first 3 ball games. But they've broken loose this afternoon and haven't left that many. They've left 5 so far over the front 6. But their clutch hitting today was much more apparent than it has been at any time in the 3 previous games. Cey will be the batter with nobody out in the 7th inning. Garvey's at second, Ferguson at first, and Justy, hopeful of getting some order back into things. Justy taking too much time. Cey backs out on him. He's ready to pitch. Garvey at second, nobody out. The pitch to Cey. Low and outside, ball 1. Nobody's got their mound or plate messed up. We can't throw a strike here this afternoon. Justy's 1-0 pitch. Foul, back out of play, and the count of 1-1. It's been an unreal season. I've never seen so many ups and downs as the Pirates have had this year. Starting at the first one, we lost the first 6 games of the season and lost 10 of our first 12. We were in last place on the 15th of June, and at one time, 14 games under 500. But somehow got back into this thing with some great play in July and August and September, and particularly big games against the Cardinals, winning 4 of the 6 games against them. And having to sweep Chicago and doing that with some miraculous ball games, 2-1, 6-5, and winning that final ball game 5-4. Cey is bunting, I think, if he takes a strike, does he? No, he takes a pitch outside. 2 balls and a strike. It's kind of unusual here with a lead of 7-1. Cey squared around a bunt with a count of 1-1. I hope they wake the Pirates up with some of this play. And this guy can hit you out of the ballpark. We've got the 7, 8, and 9 batters following him. He's not bunting now. The 2-1 pitch, and he fouls back out of play. The count of 2-2. Pirates will fly out of here tomorrow. Should the miracle occur that they would score and overtake the Dodgers and send them into another game tomorrow, they'll fly immediately following the game. And should they lose this one, well, they'll be flying out around noon tomorrow, and I would guess arriving in Pittsburgh some 5 hours later, which would be about 9 o'clock at night when you go with the time difference. 8 or 9. The 2-2 pitch. Line drive left field. Stargell drifting over. He's got it, but a well-hit ball. Well, Justy has not been able to throw anything but liners against these guys, and unusual for Dave because he had pitched so well in relief, particularly against the Dodgers all season long. But he was confessing to Bob and me that he's been throwing the last 3 days, and it feels like his arm is just dead, like there's nothing there. He's throwing, but the ball isn't doing anything. That'll bring up Bill Russell with runners still at first and second, 1 down. He's 0 for 3. In the first game, Russell's been shut out so far. We need a double play ball to get out of this. Pitches away, ball 1. Justy against the Dodgers this year in 14 innings had not given him a run. That was prior to the playoffs, but he has not been successful at all in the playoffs. Palm ball away in the count of 2-0 on Russell. Justy appeared in 7 games, one of them a start when he went 7 innings. The other one's in relief. Pitched a total of 14 innings, gave up only 7 hits, didn't walk a batter, struck out 6, and got 3 saves. Hard shot in the left field, a base hit by Russell, and Garvey will score. It's 8-1. Ferguson holds at second base. Russell's on at first. That run charged to Demery. And a wickedly hit ball by Bill Russell. And Steve Yeager will step in. They're just not able to throw the ball where he wants to, I guess. The ninth hit given up by Dave. in just 2 1/3 innings against the Dodgers. Quite a turnaround. Past performances, as you can tell, don't mean a whole lot in playoff series. We beat the Dodgers 6 in a row in Pittsburgh, and 8 out of 12. High foul out of play. And it's similar to what we went through in 1971. We had to play the Giants for the National League title. The Giants dominated us, winning 9 out of 12, and we beat them 3 out of 4. I think someone said, if you want to bet on baseball, don't. Not much sense betting on anything, but in this game, you got to be crazy. You got to be a masochist. Fastball swung on a miss, strike 2. Give your money to the United Fund or something. On the air. You want to tell me something? Go ahead. Count of 0-2 on Yeager. Palm ball fouled out of play, and the bat goes back to the mound. Jesty was going to go pick it up, but Tom Lasorda will get it. Count of 0-2. Dave had him way out in front on the palm ball. Dodgers smiling about things, and they got a lot to smile about. They lead 8-1. We were never in this thing at all. The closest we came was with a 1-0 lead, and Stennett almost bounced a single up the middle, but Sutton made a great play, and we haven't gotten close in. Fastball inside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. I'm going to tell you why this club won 102 ball games. They did pretty good this season, the winningest team in baseball. Pickoff play at second, and Ferguson is just back in time. Stennett almost got the tag on him. This stuff started back in February, and the Pirates went to camp. And it was what, October the 9th? Right now, the long, long season. And a lot of heartbreaks along the way for other ball clubs, and more to come for other ball clubs after this one. But the pressure will build and build down to that final game of the World Series. Pirates have known the joy of that success, and of course the despair of defeat that we've suffered a couple of times too. Yeager swings and misses, strike 3. And Dave puts him away. That's the second strikeout in Sutton. We'll get another standing ovation. I was mentioning earlier about the fickleness of fans the last time we were in here. They were soundly booing him. That's the last time. But in June, he was probably the most unpopular Dodger you could find. You wouldn't have an enemy in Los Angeles at all right now. And if you let that stuff affect you, you're crazy. Ball 1. You do, I guess, when you're young. The adulation of the fans is something that's there, and you accept it. But it's not long-lasting if you're not doing too well. 2-0 count on Don Sutton with runners at first and second, 2 down in the Dodgers' 7th inning, and they lead 8-1. Sutton lines to right field. Got a base hit over the head of Stennett. They're going to be a play at the plate? No. Not in time. Ferguson short. Stennett went back to get the ball. A looping ball just hit off the fist of Sutton. Rennie had the ball in his glove, dropped it, picked it up, dropped it, picked it up, and threw too late to the plate. Ferguson short. RBI. It's a single, and the Dodgers lead 9-1. That run charged to Demery, and he's tagged with 4 runs, finishing the log on him. Russell at second base is Justy's responsibility. And we're hurt. Fans is starting to file out here. They think this one is all over, but the majority of people are going to hang around for what they think will be some kind of a celebration. Dodgers have had the champagne on ice ever since they came back from Pittsburgh. They thought they'd open it up yesterday, but they didn't. But they sure have pumped the Pirates here this afternoon. Palm ball taken by Lopes, strike one. Foul back out of play by Lopes, strike two. No pitching this afternoon. Race, Brett, Demery, and now Justin. All touched up with either wildness or base hits. And when you don't get pitching, you don't get nothing. It has a tremendous morale effect on a ball club. It keeps you in there, keeps the edge. Ball away and a count of 1-2. The 1-2 pitch, palm ball, fouled out of play. Count holding. Bill Russell with a single this inning, drove in a run. He's had a hit in every game, 6 on this series. Garvey's had 3 this afternoon. He's in with 6. Those are the 2 big bats. But the productive one, without a doubt, Garvey. 2 2-run homers here this afternoon. Scored 3 runs. Ground ball, right side. Kirkpatrick can't make the play. Stennett does. The out at first. Great play by Rennie Stennett and Dave Justy. Well, we finally nailed them down here. They scored 2 runs chasing Demery, giving up 3 hits, no errors, and stranding 2. Now we go to the 8th inning. The Dodgers lead 9-1.
Here's a tip from the old gunner on how you can get the most for your food dollar. Be one of the many families who have switched to Super Dollar Markets. Super Dollar Markets have joined the fight against inflation. You'll find high-quality meats, the very freshest of produce, and a wide selection of well-known national and local brands. All at prices that make your dollar have more sense. There's always a great plus for Super Dollar customers that's sometimes hard to find in most other large food markets. It's that wonderful, friendly feeling of welcome that puts you at ease the moment you walk through the door. Super Dollar folks are people who like people, and you can take it from the old gunner. They'll do everything they can to help you make that hard-earned dollar go a little further. Super Dollar Markets are staffed with friendly people who know they can serve you better and save you more. So see for yourself. There's a lot of savings waiting for you at all Super Dollar Markets, the inflation fighters, where your dollar has more sense and who serve you better and save you more. Start your food shopping at Super Dollar Markets this week and feel the difference.
The 8th inning for the Pirates with Don Sutton just 6 outs away from giving the Dodgers a National League championship, and Pirates 6 outs away from the extension here in the National League race in 1974. Sanguillen, Kirkpatrick, and Paul Popovich will bat against Sutton. We're down 9-1. We were leading San Diego one night 8-0, but wound up losing 9-8. Sutton has allowed 3 hits. One of them raced on a double play. He stranded only 1 runner over 7 innings of pitching. The only guy that has gotten past third base in 2 games against him, Willie Stargell, a home run. Ball 1 to Manny. And a strike in there. 1 ball and 1 strike. Sutton has won 10 in a row, 14 of his last 15. And he was there when they needed him. Hard shot to short. Bill Russell, back pedaling, throws 1 down. Sanguillen bounces out to short. And that'll bring up Ed Kirkpatrick. Hitless in the series, 0 for 8. Walked in the 3rd inning. Spanky and Bob Robertson had been shut out in this series. And that's been unusual. They've done a great job this season platooning these 2 guys. The pitch by Sutton in there at the letter, strike 1. The attendance today, 54,424. The 0-1 pitch, foul, back out of play. Strike 2. The Dodgers are the World Series here for the first 2 and last 2, and these 2 playoff games have a shot of drawing somewhere around 3 million fans almost. which is going to tell you something about baseball in this area. I don't think it's quite dead. Screwball down low in the count of 1-2. Sutton just seemingly realizing what this game was, and he wasn't going to let it get out of hand at any time. It was close for the first 3 innings. Lee had a shot at tying it up, but he took a base hit away from Stennett. And with an easy lead, he's pitched the way he should pitch. Hasn't walked anybody. And dominating things. Pitch up high and a count of 2-2. Nine-1 lead, 8th inning for the Pirates. Kirkpatrick with a count of 2-2. Sutton's pitch. Way up high, ball 3. Sutton walked Kirkpatrick in the 3rd. That's the only walk he gave up. The game in Pittsburgh, the only walk he gave up was to Kirkpatrick, 2. The 3-2 pitch. Ground ball right back off the glove of Sutton, picked up by Russell, throws to first, he got it. 1-6-3. Well, that's pretty good indication that this game, I guess, is going their way. Ball was hit off his glove, went right to the shortstop for an out. He can do nothing wrong. Sutton was commenting about the Pirates, and it was almost like Redford and the Sting, telling them how good they are and how well they hit the ball, and he goes out and zaps you for 2 straight games. And I noticed him going and flicking his nose when he was talking about it. Fastball away, ball 1. He said they take those guys to spring training and drop off 4 dozen bats and tell them we'll pick you up in 4 weeks. Not quite that easy. Popovich takes a pitch away in the count of 2-0. Paul has set a playoff series record with 3 pinch hits. He pinch hit in the 6th inning for Mendoza. He got a base hit, takes a strike. 2 balls and a strike. Richie Zisk is on deck. He'll pinch hit for Dave Justy. The 2-1 pitch by Sutton. High pop-up into left field. Buckner will make the play on this one. He won't have to dive for it. Now Jimmy Wynn chases them off. And the Pirates go down in order in the 8th inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. And we'll go to the Dodgers' 8th inning. The Dodgers leading 9-1.
With people who love good, fresh juice products, the name Daly's is synonymous with quality and unsurpassed flavor. Now, what makes Daly's juice products different? Well, there is a difference. You see, Daly's has never squeezed, crushed, or smashed fruit. They just give it a real old hug to get the richer, pure nectar from the very heart of the fruit. And Daly's is so deliciously different that it just naturally tastes better. And Daly's is great any time of the day. It'll satisfy even the pickiest person in your home. Get your family all juiced up with Daly's, because all of Daly's juice products are made with natural fruit juice and added bonus of vitamin C. Choose from orange, grapefruit, grape, orange pineapple, orange grapefruit, lemon lime, punch, pineapple, low-cal orange, and the brand new low-cal grapefruit, all made with natural fruit juices. Look for the bottle with the juice in the ears. You know what a little hug does for you, don't you? Well, taste what it does for Daly's. Daly's juice products, drink concentrates, cocktail mixes, and fruit-flavored drinks.
Well, the Dodgers will be coming to bat for what they hope will be their last time in regular season play in the National League until the World Series. They'll be facing Dave Justy, Buckner, Wynn, and Garvey will bat against Dave. They lead 9-1. Pirates hopeful that they'll have to hit in the 9th inning. But the way things are going, that's quite a big wish. Buckner, first ball hitting, flips one foul, and I believe out of play. It is onto the dugout. And the television cameraman got himself a souvenir, but throws it back into the crowd. Buckner 0 for 4. He's been the only Dodger that hasn't been on base here this afternoon. Everybody else has had a hit or a walk, including the pitcher, Don Sutton. The 0-1 pitch by Dave, and a foul off the foot of Buckner takes us still. Right at home plate. strike two. Lasorda in to check on him. He appears to be in some kind of pain. Dodgers certainly wouldn't want to lose him for a World Series competition. Not that serious. He's going to stay in there. The Dodgers won in 1966, and Don Sutton, the lone remaining member of that ball club. Turnover in baseball is excessive. Sutton at that time was just a youngster. He's only 29 now. And he said this is the best Dodger ball club he's ever been with, and I would guess he'd have to assume that. Fastball away by Justy, 1 ball and 2 strikes, because the 66 ball club, I think, scored 1 run in 4 games in ball against Baltimore. They were probably the worst hitting team that ever won a title. He put it on Mario Wills' speed and the pitching of Drysdale and Koufax. Palm ball down low on the count of 2-2 on Buckner. Pirates have known, I guess, as much success as anybody in baseball in the last 5 years. 4 divisional titles, a National League flag, and a World Series. But I'm sure disappointed with the way things have turned out in this series. High fly to right field, not very deep. Parker, an easy play. And Buckner goes out on a shallow fly to right field. Well, a long afternoon for Buckner, 0 for 5. But I'm sure he will savor the win here that they have going for them, 9-1. Then we have Jimmy Wynn, who's had himself a good afternoon with a double. He drove in a run in the first inning, walked and scored on Garvey's homer in the third, walked and scored on Garvey's homer in the fifth. In the 6th inning, he popped up to third base. The pitch by Justy. It is low and away, ball 1. Oakland beat Baltimore 2-1. And Oakland had only 1 hit, but won it 2-1. The 1-0 pitch, curve down low, ball 2. Every time one has been up, the count has been 2-0 on them. And that's been the story about all afternoon. The Dodger hitters, his Pirate pitching has been behind all afternoon. Palm ball down low, ball 3. And waiting on deck is, guess who? Steve Garvey. He's had 2 home runs and a single, driven in 4, scored 3. Ball 4. That is a nice walk. Given up by the Pirates, and let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Pirates baseball net.
All the good sports around. Pirates, Pittsburgh.
Steve Garvey up again in the same situation that he had in the 3rd and 5th inning. Win at first base with a walk, and both times he homered. The last time he singled open up the 7th inning. Bounces it off the glove of Justy, picked up by Stennett. No play, base hit. He's 4 for 5. Win at second base, and Joe Ferguson will be the batter. 1 down. The Dodgers just dominating us here this afternoon. Their 10th hit to go with 8 to 9 distasteful walks. And it tells you that it's been all Los Angeles. Pitching has just been non-existent for the Bucks. The pitch to Ferguson, up high, ball 1. Fastball by Dave. Win at second base. Garvey at first. The look back, the pitch to Ferguson. Foul. Back out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike. Pirates' 9th inning will find a pinch hitter for Justy, then Stennett and Hebner going. But we're trying to get through the 8th. The 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss on a palm ball, strike 2. Ferguson tried to hit it out of here, was out in front of that by 2 feet. The 1-2 pitch High pop-up foul, and I believe out of play. It is behind the screen. Behind home plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Pirates were picked to win the Eastern Division title in spring training by just about everybody, but they got off to such a horrendous start. It was unbelievable the way they came back from as far back as they were and how they had to fight through a lot of misfortune in the second half of the season. With the loss of Kenny Brett, their top pitcher, the loss of Ellis through the whole month of September, and the loss of Justy for a week or so in September. But win it they did, and they did in a weird fashion on a strikeout and a pass ball in the 9th inning of the final game to tie it and won it in the 10th. It hasn't been that way in the playoffs. Only one moment of brightness, and that was yesterday with Bruce Keeson and Stargell and Hebner. One drive right field. Wynn will score. Garvey comes to third, and the Dodgers lead by the score of 10-1. Getting downright humiliating here. Runners at second and third, and Justin tagged for 2 hits in this inning to go 2 in the 7th. And David just going to be glad when this season winds its course, I'm sure. It ends its course. They will walk Say to pitch to Bill Russell with only 1 out here. That'll be the 10th walk, and that's going to set an all-time playoff record for 1 game. And this will be Justy's 2nd walk, the first intentional walk in this ball game. The Dodgers leading 10-1. Well, you hate to end on a note like this, but unfortunately, that's the way it's ending. It's kind of a sour note. Pirates came out to the ballpark. They were kind of optimistic about things after yesterday's hitting and pitching, but it just hasn't been that kind of a day. Royce, Brett, Demery, and Justy all have had poor outings, been touched up for a lot of hits and an awful lot of walks. Bases loaded for Russell, who singled and drove in a run in the 7th inning. Here's a pitch by Justy. Up high, ball 1. Justy is on to get out the side here, I believe. I think somebody may be loosening. I believe it is Juan Pizarro in that bullpen. Yeager, the on-deck batter, the 1-0 pitch. Check swing and a base hit. He didn't want to hit it. It's a base hit. 1 run is in. 2 runs are in. And over to third is Cey. Moving into second. The ball gets away from Hebner. Justy picks it up, and everything's coming good. We are kicking the ball around. And the Dodgers are doing everything right. Russell didn't even want to hit the ball. Stopped swinging the ball, went over the head of Stennett for a single. He moved into second base. 2 RBIs. And 3 runs in this inning. Cey stopping at third. And the Dodgers have broken it wide open 12-1, and that's all for Justy. Don Osborne making another appearance out here. Been the most photographed man on television this afternoon, the pitching coach, Don Osborne. That's all for Justy. They're having a rough series here. They've just not been effective at all. He goes 1 1/3 inning. Been tagged for 2, 3, 5 hits. Has given up 3 runs so far. Has walked 2. Struck out 1. And I believe Pizarro is going to get the call. It is Juan Pizarro. Pirate bullpen. Getting roughed up here. And the Dodgers have walked their way and hit their way to an easy 12-1 lead and have the 1974 National League title right in their back pocket. Yeager will be the batter. Pizarro will be facing. Dave Justy in this playoff series is just an unbelievable figure when you look at what he did earlier this year against the Dodgers, and you talk about past performance figures, they don't mean a whole lot. Dave has worked in 3 games. He's gone 3 1/3 innings. He's given up 13 hits, 8 runs so far, 5 walks, and 1 strikeout. And that is not Dave Justy pitching. But how you figure those things out, you'll never know. Pizarro will come on to work and try to close this thing out and get us out of here while we're still breathing and have some blood left or something. And this has been embarrassing here. You look at the scoreboard. Looks like Arnold Palmer's golf cart, when it used to look like in the 60s. 2-2-2-3. 3 birds and a par on a par 3 course or something. It looks like an Arnold Palmer's golf cart back in the 1960s. 2-2-2-3. I'm sure Palmer would like to have one of those again. Oh, well. I'll tell you, it's been a joy for my 8th year of broadcasting, and fortunate to have 5 titles and sit through all those things, and although this is a distasteful way to end it, it's a pleasure to have had the opportunity to sit in on some great moments. 1970, a great year. 71, an unbelievable season. 72, right down to the wire, losing it on a wild pitch in the final game of the playoffs. And the disastrous year of 73 with the loss of Clemente and the ineffectiveness of Steve Blass, and still somehow managed to hang into the race for the final week of the season, the final day. And again this year. Well, I know how disappointing it is, but you got to figure that there are teams in this league that have never known a winning season at all. And I know you're disappointed in Pittsburgh with the outcome of this season. But if it's any consolation, and it should be, there are places where they have never known a winning season. San Diego is one of them. The Phillies haven't had a pennant since 1950. Now the walk to Steve Yeager loads up the bases. That's the 11th walk given up by the Pirates to go with 12 hits, and they've got 23 runners. Sutton will leave. He will not bat, and he's being greeted by Junior Gilliam, I believe, gave him a big hug when he came back to the dugout. Sutton tipped his hat to the crowd, put his hands up, and said, "Yeah, we got him." Yeager being congratulated, or Sutton rather, in the dugout, and he has done the job that the Dodgers needed. They won the first game on his pitching, and they won this one on his pitching too, because he kept it close. And it appears that the Pirates are going to have tough time scoring runs, and the Dodgers took advantage of that. Well, Moda will pinch hit for Don Sutton, and Walter Austin is going to take everything he can get. And Moda is coming up to try to do it with the bases loaded and only one out. Fastball away, ball 1. Whether Austin is trying to rub salt in the wounds here, I don't know. Because of Murtaugh going out and questioning a few things here, I don't know. The Dodgers are taking no mercy here. The 1-0 pitch. Outside, ball 2. Yeah, we can't throw a strike for love of money here. 11 walks, and we've been 2-0 on every hitter since the game started. There hasn't been anybody that's pitched well. A strike to Moda. 2 balls and 1 strike. They call it a laugher in Los Angeles, but it's anything but that. A ground ball to Hebner. They go to second, the out there to throw to first, double play. Moda bounces into a 5-4-3 double play, and we finally get out of that long, horrible 8th inning. 3 runs on 3 hits, 3 walks, no errors, and 2 left. And after 8, the Dodgers lead as we go to the 9th inning, 12-1.
Just imagine yourself in this situation. It's about 90 degrees out, and you're on your way back to work from lunch, and you want to run a quick errand which takes all of 10 minutes. But when you go back to your car, hey, it won't start. And you thought cars only had trouble starting in cold weather. Well, hot weather is sometimes even harder on your battery than cold weather is. That's usually because blistering heat can help cause high internal engine friction, which can make it hard to start your car. So you need a battery that will perform no matter what the weather, hot or cold. And that's the Delco Energizer. It gives an instantaneous burst of power for hot weather starts or cold weather starts. Now you know more about the Delco Energizer. And that's about all anybody has to know about batteries.
For shots that are good and like the Delco's the thing to know. Well, the more you know, the more you want Delco. Well, the more you know, the more you want Delco. Well, the more you know.
Well, the crowd here was informed that the new pitcher is going to be, guess who, a big surprise for you. Mike Marshall. No surprise at all. He has been one of the key reasons for their success, and he's coming on to close it out with a 12-1 lead. In the ninth inning, it's going to be a pinch hitter. Is this? Or is it Art Howe? Danny Murtaugh is going to let Art Howe get a shot here. The youngster will pinch hit against Mike Marshall. Art Howe making his first appearance in postseason play. This guy, pretty good story. Came out of Wyoming University. He wasn't picked up by anybody. Started playing semi-pro baseball in Pittsburgh. And went to a tryout camp. The Pirates signed him up. Led the first league he played in hitting and had a good season at Charleston. He injured himself the year before, and last year, this season, started well, and Pirates brought him up. Fastball by Marshall, up high, ball one. Well, maybe Marshall will get a while, walk about 8 guys, and get a home run, and who knows? Pitch down low, ball 2. Well, the first occurrence of the afternoon. The game will be delayed. Dodger fan running around the outfield. Nobody wants to look at you, kid. Get out of there. They're trying to win a pennant here. The Dodgers are. And he's going to put on a show. Buckner grabbed his hand and tried to hit him. Okay, we'll get off the field, kid. We've seen you. Nobody's chasing him, and he can't understand what's going on. He's going to go around and touch everybody. He'll be greeted and hauled off, and he will be paying a pretty good fine, I'm sure. He's hugging Steve Garvey, and Garvey wants to, now he's going to try and run away. He's about as out of shape as anybody he could find. He is gone. What the fans are booing for. You're not supposed to go on the field. There's an obvious reason for that. The game is... People pay $3 to see ball players, not to see people run around the ball field. He will leave and be informed, I'm sure, of his rights, and he'll be informed later how much it cost him for that trip. Pitches down low, ball 3. Howe leading off the ninth inning. The count of 3-0, the pitch by Marshall. He is in there with a strike. 3 balls and a strike. 12-1, the Dodgers lead, in case you've just come back from outer space or something. Howe bounces to short. Bill Russell throws him out at first. 1 down. 2 more outs to go, and the Dodgers will capture their first National League flag since 1966. And a rather easy time of it here this afternoon. Leading 12-1 on a 12-hit attack to go along with a total of 11 walks by Pirate pitchers. Stennett 0 for 3. Facing Marshall here for the first time. Takes the pitch inside, ball 1. The 1-0 pitch in there at the knees, and a count of 1-1. Marshall, this is his 108th appearance of the season, setting an all-time mark, and he's changed things with regard to relief pitching. A screwball hit in the center field. Jimmy Wynn got it, 2 down. And this crowd will erupt, and pillows and everything will be coming out of here in the next out. Hebner will be the batter. He's 0 for 3. Struck out 2 times and bounced to second base against Don Sutton. Marshall, much like Roger Bannister with a 4-minute mile, has proved that relief pitchers can work more than 50 times a year or so. Crowd all standing up around here as Hebner swings and misses, strike 1. The Dodgers will be the 1974 National League champions. And they did it with a great season. And strike 2 to Richie. 1 more pitch. And this place will come on unglued. And it's underway. He struck him out. That's it. The Dodgers have captured the 1974 National League pennant. The crowd filing out onto the field. And mobbing all the Dodgers, and they're taking the bases away, too. And it's quite a happy scene here, but the Pirates dug out a very sad one. The Dodgers beat us 12-1.
Westinghouse has a heavy-duty washer you're going to cheer about. It can tackle 18 pounds of the toughest family wash or gently launder your most delicate things with its optional hand wash agitator. This big Westinghouse has 5 water temperature selections and 3 agitator and spin speeds. There's even a water saver switch and a knit fabric setting. Everything you need for every laundry problem. And every Westinghouse is backed by Westinghouse Nationwide Sure Service. Westinghouse, you can be sure if it's Westinghouse.
Well, it's all over for baseball in Pittsburgh in 1974, but another winning year for the Pirates and a kind of a disappointing playoff. And no other way you could say it, I'm sure. The Pirates, I'm sure, thought they would do much better than they did. But Don Sutton dominated the first game. He dominated the final game here. And the Dodgers finally got the hitting that they were so well known for throughout the season. And Steve Garvey, who was a big gun for them all year, broke this game open in the third inning with a 1-0 lead, and Royce, after a stumbling start when he was exceptionally wild, gave them a run in the first inning with, he was 2-0 on every hitter, walked Lopes, Wynn hit a double to score him after a stolen base, and he walked Ferguson, and Cey almost took him out of the ballpark. But in the second inning, settled around, got Russell Yeager and Sutton easily, got Lopes and Buckner to open the third, but went back into the wildness, walking Wynn, and went 3-0 on Garvey before he took a strike and then hit one into right center field. And that set the tone for everything. He got another 2-run homer off Brett in the fifth inning to make it 5-0. And they just bombed everybody after that, Demery and Justy. The only one with any effectiveness this afternoon was Juan Pizarro. And the line score shows it 12 runs on 12 hits and no errors for the Dodgers. The Pirates, 1 run. It came on Willie Stargell's home run off Don Sutton in the 7th inning. The only run we got off Sutton in 2 starts. And he just was an outstanding pitcher in this series. 1 run on 3 hits and 1 error. Sutton, the winner, he is 2-0 in this series. And Royce, the losing pitcher, his record 0-2. So the Dodgers will play Oakland here in this ballpark Saturday. And it means that Andy Messersmith now, with Sutton closing it out here, will have a chance to open up the series for Los Angeles. A couple of records set. The Dodgers set on the series record for double plays. And Paul Popovich, with 3 pinch hits, set a series record for that one. And the Dodgers are the National League champions for 1974. The Pirates gave it a pretty good run, but just no contest in the playoff series, as the Dodgers were just too much. We've enjoyed baseball in 74. Al Oliver going across the field and into the Dodger dugout. He wants to congratulate them, and I'm sure other Pirates will too. But we've enjoyed bringing baseball to you, and on behalf of our many sponsors, our thanks to you for letting us come into your homes and your automobiles during 1974. We'll be back again to do it in 75, and it should be another good season. Till then, for the gunner Bob Prince and for Bill Richards, our producer back at KDKA, and for our engineer out here on the coast, Sam Sacco, Nellie King wishing you well and hoping you enjoy a nice winter. This game was brought to you in part by your Pirate Land Chrysler Plymouth dealer, who has immediate delivery on America's #1 selling compact. By Joy, nature's high-protein food for dogs. Higher in protein, and it still costs less than most other brands. And by your friends from Iron City Beer. When you're really ready to pour it on, pour in the iron. The final score, the Dodgers capture the 1974 National League pennant by the score of 12-1. This is the Pirate Baseball Network.